Hello and welcome to Incremental Factory. Today we're going to check out Challenge Mode. Challenge Mode becomes available once you complete the main game. If you're interested in seeing a playthrough of the main game, my previous series is available for this game. Let's check out Challenge Mode, see what the options are. We have a current game speed bonus of +2 because of our finishing the main game. Now we can have, these are all modifiers, easy, medium, and hard. We're going to start with an easy one, go grow big or go home, which has a looks like a reduced parcel cost of 50,000, a parcel cost cap of 10,000, which is nice. I think the main game has a parcel cost cap of 21,000. Maximum yield 200%. Alien strength is a little bit higher, and you get extra 2+ game speed for completing this. So let's jump right in. Let's turn on night mode right away. We've fast forwarded in time a little bit here. What you're looking at here is my iron plate setup, but I'm basically using this challenge run to test out a new layout, which is basically a main bus where all the materials are made, shipped to a main bus, and then pulled off into factories as needed. So this is the iron plate setup for that. My steel setup is right next to it. You can see it's pretty easy to expand. If I need more steel, I just copy the factory down, attach it to these nodes up here, and this starts the main bus up here. One of the caveats of this is there is a transportation limit of 1,200 per tick between node. So if you find you need more than 1,200 per tick, you'll have to create a separate factory and a separate node system for it. So you'd have 2 nodes of iron going down the bus. So far I haven't needed that, but we'll see. We're just getting into Gen 3 chips here, so we'll see how it works out. So this is my factory layout right now. I am currently finished with Gen 2 chips, just starting Gen 3 chips. This is the factory here. You can see the main bus is getting pretty thick down here, so I don't know how manageable this concept's going to be as we get into the Gen 4 and 5 chips, but we'll find out soon enough. Give you a quick example. We can zoom in here to the Gen 2 chips. So it's super simple to make Gen 2 chips. I just pulled off what I needed off the bus, which was silicone, copper cables, aluminum, and oxygen. The silicon and oxygen was just made into a silicon dioxide factory. There's no sense putting silicon dioxide on the bus, I don't think. And so then I had all the materials I needed to make Gen 2 chips, and then they just get sent right back down to the bus. So now going forward on the bus, anything that needs Gen 2 chips can just pull them off here. And if I ever need to expand it, I can just copy these factories up, have plenty of room, and it'll instantly be accessible to all my other factories. We can zoom out, take a look at some of these nodes here real quick. I've been trying to limit it to 4 or 5 items per node, just so that I have room for connections if I need to pull stuff up or down off to make a new factory. So this one has 4 items on it, this one has 4 items on it, and then we have 10 connections because we have some connections going up to the top of the bus to pull items off to make that stuff out of the factory. Can take a quick look at my excavation. I am at level 17 currently. I'm trying to get down to level 20 so we can get to the next turret, which is the Mark II turret here. And then research, I am all done with purple science. I just need to start doing yellow science. So yeah. Okay, so now all I gotta do is dig down and unlock Havnium. This shouldn't be too big of a deal because we already have all the towers maxed out. So that should be relatively straightforward. They're gonna get pretty close, but we will fight them off. This will unlock Havnium so that we can build a production line for Havnium plates, which will enable us to build the next turret. I'm just going to show you a quick example of how I do this. I'm just dragging down the supplies I need off the bus, which is oxygen. Put a production parcel down here for Havnium plates. That requires oxygen, coal, and Havnium ore. So we just got to grab the oxygen over to a node here, and then put in a production node mining Havnium. Pull this off to a node as well. We'll drag this down over here so that we can connect multiple miners to it. And then we will put another node in over here just to transfer the final amount of ore to the production line. And then we'll just connect these up to the production parcel. And last up we need some coal, so we'll just have to add some coal. We had to lower this down to 16 so that we had an extra connection for the inputs and outputs. So this is just coal being mined, sent up to a node, sent up to a final collector node, and then we will put that into the system. And we just got to drag this up and put hafnium into a node and then onto the bus so that we can have it for whatever else we need it for. So we'll just drag a node up here, throw it in, and connect it into the rest of the stuff. So that enables us to build the new turrets. Now that we have hafnium plates, we can put a couple of them in, max out the walls so that we have good coverage and protection from attacks. It really burns through the steel. But now we can dig down to unlock aluminum. A lot of monsters, but we are handling it no problem. So they put up a fight, but our walls pretty much handled it. We'll have to replace the walls each battle. They're kind of our protection. But they're good to go. So I said we unlocked aluminum, but it was actually titanium that we unlocked. So I'm going to build a quick titanium factory down here. But the advantage, like my previous designs were compartmentalized, right? Like if I needed titanium in the warehouse, I built a separate factory for titanium that just went to the warehouse. And then if I needed somewhere else in the factory, I built another titanium factory for whatever the rocket parts we need are or something like that. So I had 2 titanium factories. With this design, I just have 1 titanium factory. So I ended up using a lot less parcels in this run through than I did in that one because there was not a lot of duplication. You know, titanium is only produced one place. The disadvantage to that is, like, you never really know how much is going, like as you expand your warehouse, you know, the titanium gets pumped into the warehouse, but it's also being used in your production line. So depending on how many nodes you have in between your titanium and the warehouse, you know, it really affects what percentage goes to production, what percentage goes to the warehouse, and it becomes very hard to calculate how much titanium you need to be producing to keep your factories operating at 100% efficiency. But you do use a lot less parcels because you're only producing, your factories sit idle a lot less, because once your warehouse is full, if you had a separate build of titanium, that whole titanium parcel would just sit empty and idle, and it wouldn't be producing anything because your warehouse is full. So there's advantages and disadvantages to either one. The bus also becomes super hard to manage on this. You're constantly adding nodes and dragging them around to get the products off you want in this right place that you want it. But it is super easy to move stuff around, instantly stretch this down, and now I have access to all those factory items right here. So I can easily go ahead and build something that was complex, like, you know, high K dielectric or Gen 4 chips, just because I have all the ingredients I need. So all I have to do is grab a node right here, pull them up to the top, and just basically pull off what ingredients we need. And there's no duplicating of factories. There's no worrying about how much of this I'm producing, because in the end I can just click on it and see if I'm not producing enough oxygen. I can go to the oxygen plant and just add a whole bunch more oxygen, and it supplies more oxygen to the whole factory. So I ended up doing a lot less calculations on this run because of that. I just oversupplied stuff, and it was just available to the whole factory to use whenever it needed it. So a lot less idle time for factories. But so here I'm just dragging up all the ingredients I need. I have the separate nodes for each one, just so that way if I have to copy up factories, there's not a connection issue, because, you know, if I have 5 connections to one node and I copy it, that's all of a sudden 10 connections to that node. Whereas if you have individual nodes, you have, you know, 20 to work with. So that's why I'm doing that. But that's high K electric done on the bus. So it works super simple. Same thing for Gen 4 chips, which we're going to work on next. It's really easy to just grab multiple stuff off the belt and, you know, move stuff around. This is silicone germanium, so I need this for Gen 4 chips, so all I gotta do is drag a node down the bus and bring a node up here and pull off the materials that we need for Gen 4 chips. So Gen 4 chips will be relatively easy to produce because I won't have to do any calculations. I'll just drag up the stuff I need and then go add stuff to the factories that I'm short on. So if I end up being short on high K, I can go to the high K factory and just add a couple extra factories and see what ingredients I'm short on. It does become a process managing this bus though. I spent a lot of time dragging nodes, keeping them straight, trying to get everything 90 degrees so it looks nice. It became quite a chore as the bus got bigger, especially as you have to add nodes in between the bus nodes to grab an extra ingredient off. It becomes a little bit of a chore. But so this is Gen 4 chips again, just pulling off the nodes that I need, dragging up the connections. Super simple to keep it organized. So that is all the ingredients we need for Gen 4 chips. We can just drag that up. All in all, I probably would not do this layout again. I'd rather have 100% efficiency, and it's a lot easier to calculate what a certain chain needs if you compartmentalize it. And then we just know that when it's operating, it will be 100% efficiency. But when it's not, you'll have a lot of parcels just sitting there doing nothing. Where in this, you don't have that to be the case. But this is where an instance where I had to add nodes into the parcel, so I had to delete all these connections and just redraw it out. It's not too bad, but it does become a little bit of a process. But just like that, we have Gen 4 chips on the bus now, and it's easy to keep stuff organized because I can have all my generation chips on the same node. So with that, we are able to get down to level 28 to unlock Cobalt. Quite a few monsters coming in, but as long as you max out all your turrets and max out the research that is available to you, you can usually get through it just by surrounding it with a whole bunch of walls. It is designed so that it's super close call every time. Like this top half of my miner got totally destroyed, but we did survive it, and we didn't have any turrets that were lost. So good stuff. So something as complicated as Gen 5 chips would normally be a difficult build and take up a huge amount of space. But with this design, it was actually relatively straightforward to just add the items that I needed to. I just found them on the bus, extended nodes out so that we had them, and then dragged them down to the Gen 5 location, and there they are, available to us to build. So it was really easy to break out the factories into smaller portions, build, say, nanowires, put them on the bus, and then just not even worry about how many I need of them, just build a small factory and put them on the bus, and then as I need them, I can expand the factory. Relatively easy because I have room above it to just copy it up and make more of them. So I didn't even have to worry about calculations too much. But so this is Gen 5 chips. Again, super small area. Did not take up much space at all. In a minute I'll show you my previous Gen 5 chip factory. It took up a ton more room compared to this one. But then if I need some secondary ingredients, I just grab a small factory and build them up top here. This was just a little bit of copper cables to be built for this, so it was super simple to just build it right above it and put it back in. Sometimes you have to delete the connections and redo it because I do get crisscrossed if you want them straight across. But just like that, that's Gen 5 chips done. We just got to drag them down, put them on a node, and then put them on the bus and into the warehouse. So this is my previous design that I'll show you. It took up a huge amount of space, and it was not nearly as compact as this one. Right here, all this was Gen 5 chips required up here. So a super large area for Gen 5 chips compared to what we just did. So that is the factory with the main bus layout. I think I don't really care for this design. It works good, it's easy to build stuff in, but it's hard to chase stuff down. Like you find you're short over here, so you come over here and you add stuff to here, and you have to go back and check and to find out that now that that's available, it's short on something over here, so you have to fix this and go back. So it's a lot of back and forth that I didn't really care for. I'd rather have it all in one area, compartmentalized, and just be able to add it up and be done with it. Another problem I have with this is I don't really know how much of this I need, right? Like this could be used in 3 different sections of factory up here, And I don't really know. I guess if it's just not producing, I can tell I have enough of it, but I don't know. I prefer the 100% route and just making it compartmentalized. But we have white science being done now. We can go ahead and complete the game. That is completes that challenge, gets us a max game speed of 2x. We're going to continue it. But basically we have plenty of white science. We could do some research. We could, increase our turret speeds, increase our unit protection. So I've generated a ton of white science, so it's, we can do the beacons. We can do, this extraction tier stuff, multiple levels of it. We can do energy efficiency, whole bunch of levels of that. And then that just leaves the warehouse tech. Like I could do the warehouse one too, I guess. We're finally out of white science. Actually, we're out of red science. But there's only 1 or 2 more levels of this anyway. But that basically turns the whole factory on because the warehouse is now empty. It has capacity to store 4,400,000. So, and we only have 1 million of stuff, so it's going to take a little bit of time to build that up. But that's going to do it for this challenge. It was a fun little experiment to do. So that's going to be it for this episode. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.